But yeah, as long as I could chat with them for like 5 minutes before the interview actually goes live.
Yeah.
To just prep them and
Hello, Hoosier Nation. I'm Galen Clavio, and we're excited to be bringing you our first ever Day of Giving in partnership with Hoosiers Connect. And we're looking forward to a huge day of programming throughout the course of the day. We're going to be talking to a number of IU student athletes as we discuss NIL, we discuss the importance of NIL, and we give you the opportunity to donate on an individual level to Hoosiers Connect. It's going to be a really fascinating day. We've got guests from men's basketball, from women's basketball coming up in the tail end of things, from men's soccer, hopefully from women's soccer as well as the volleyball team and football. But we wanted to start off with the head honcho of IU athletics himself, Scott Dolson. Scott, great to have you here, and thanks for taking the time.
Hey, thanks for having me, and thanks for helping create this Day of Giving, which is going to be really awesome.
It's really exciting, and it's one of those things that I don't think 5 years ago we would have been able to predict would have even existed. And I kind of want to start there. I mean, you've been in college athletics for a long time. NIL is a relatively new thing. How important is NIL right now in the landscape of major college athletics at this level?
I really cannot overestimate or overstate how important NIL is. And the way I really phrase it is, when we talk to recruits, we talk about maximizing their opportunity in every way. And we always, before NIL, we would talk about maximizing their opportunity from an academic standpoint, from an athletic standpoint, from a personal standpoint. And now we add that fourth category. From an NIL perspective, we want to make certain we're maximizing that opportunity as well. And it's real, it's really important, and I'm really proud of our department, I'm proud of our staff, I'm proud of Hoosiers Connect, our collectives, who have really been able to put us on the map in terms of NIL and truly, I believe, put us on a path to make certain our student athletes do maximize that opportunity.
One of the things that you'll be experiencing and seeing throughout the course of the day as we talk to IU athletes about name, image, and likeness, you're going to see that URL that I think you're seeing at the bottom of the screen now. That's the link that you would go to donate to Hoosiers Connect. And it's something that a lot of people think is just for large-scale businesses. You'll hear a lot about these opportunities. But Scott, those individual level donors for something like an NIL collective make such a huge difference.
Huge, really huge. And again, back to at the beginning of this, maybe we didn't imagine how this was going to unfold exactly, but when we realized that raising money to make certain that we can help the collectives perform their function and to really create those opportunities for our student athletes has been, it's critical. And it's been really neat to see how our student athletes, as those opportunities have been created, it's really been a part of their growth as well in terms of partnering with charities in the community, in terms of really understanding the business side of really life, and whether it's tax preparation, whether it's financial management. There's just been lots of byproducts of NIL that we didn't really realize were going to happen.
You've seen several IU student athletes take advantage of NIL opportunities either through Hoosiers Connect or Hoosiers for Good, which are tied in. Have there been any that have stood out to you when you've seen them pop up where you're like, wow, that's not just a great opportunity for that athlete, but it also really fits into the culture of what we want to see with IU athletics?
Yes, when you say that, I immediately thought of Taiwan Mullins. So Taiwan last year from our football program was a part of Hoosiers for Good. He partnered with the Boys Club of Bloomington and was doing a lot to promote them, and which was really awesome. It was working the way it was supposed to, but the other part that really stood out that was just amazing to me is that Taiwan attended a Boys Club fundraiser as a guest and was there to help promote it. And at that event, and I was there with my wife, and they auctioned off where you could sponsor a young boy or a young girl to be a part of the Boys Club. And what Taiwan did, which was it just blew me away. He was in the audience. He actually bid and with his own money sponsored a young person to make certain they could be a part of the Boys Club. And I remember saying to my wife at the time, I said, wow, not only did Taiwan, he learned so much through NIL and he was able to benefit from that certainly, but for him to learn how to give back. Nobody asked him to do that. He did that totally on his own. To me, was such a great story, and it really made me feel good about how we're doing things and it's a big picture. It's not just about the money, although the money is so critical. We need that to be successful for our student athletes. but the way he learned and gave back was certainly really a neat thing to see.
That's awesome to hear. And it's one of those things that as you get into this process, as you said, you don't exactly know where it's headed, but watching the athletes themselves as they come in, as they start to take advantage of these opportunities. Obviously IU's had some partnerships that they've managed to get into where we've been able to help athletes along the way, one of them being the Open Doors partnership. Explain a little bit about that and how the athletic department has been able to help our student athletes in those ways.
Yeah, we created really a comprehensive program with NIL. It wasn't just about making certain that student athletes had opportunities to maximize their brand, but also to have an education component, to have an ability to make certain that we're teaching them how to build their brands, to really have a broader understanding. And for them, in a way, it helped them sort of grow up quickly. And the Open Doors partnership, the partnership with our collectives, the partnership just with Altius, who's done a lot of our education with our student athletes, has really been, it's been helpful in multiple ways. It's helpful most of all for our current student athletes, but as we bring in recruits and they understand how we've been a leader from an NIL perspective, they understand the comprehensive approach. They also understand that certainly you could really get just so tied up in the deals. And some student athletes who come here, it's just about what kind of deal can I get. And honestly, that's not exactly what we're all about. We're about the big picture, just like we are in everything else, academically and athletically. And I think that's really been a good thing with recruits' families as they come in here. They like the fact that we're big picture. We try to look at it holistically. We try to make certain that we're always looking out for what's beyond just making certain that we put our student athletes in a position to be able to acquire a deal. It's bigger than that.
Yeah. That was a question I've gotten from a lot of folks. Like, how much does NIL factor into the recruiting process for a lot of our sports? I mean, it's obviously something that's on the table. How conscious are high school athletes as they're looking at where they're going to spend their college career? How much does that come up?
They're very conscious of it. It's a big deal. Let's put it like this. If we were not competitive from an NIL perspective, if we weren't on the cutting edge, if we weren't very proactive in making certain that we could help our student athletes maximize that opportunity, we would have really struggled and still continue to struggle from a recruiting standpoint. We play by the rules. We're not promising anyone anything. We're making certain we play right within the guidelines. But at the same time, if we were just very passive as it comes to NIL, there's no question we would really struggle from a recruiting standpoint. And I'll say this too, Galen, because I think it's important. Our coaches, and particularly coaches that in some more high-profile sports, you could say, in men's and women's basketball and in football, our coaches have really embraced maximize the NIL opportunity, but also if that's all you're about, it's really just an NIL situation, we may not be the best place for you because we do want the big picture. We want it all. We want student athletes to want to make certain that they want that education and they understand the importance of that, certainly athletically and as I said, personally, and then from an NIL perspective. But again, if we didn't have it and we weren't very proactive with it, we would be struggling.
One of the great things about the Day of Giving that we're going to have today, and something that I think just got announced about a day ago, and for those who didn't hear, all of the donations from individuals going to Hoosiers Connect today will be matched 100%. And that's just an amazing opportunity for people because you get to donate and your money actually goes twice as far as it would if you were just donating and there was no match.
Galen, it's amazing. And having grown up in the fundraising area of IU Athletics, been around for a long time, our donors continue to just amaze me. Whatever kind of the need is to make certain we're providing for our student athletes, whether it's a facility, whether it's a scholarship, whether it's a trip to play an international contest, our donors continue to step up and make certain that we can be competitive. And NIL is exactly along those same lines. And the matching gift is just huge. We received it last year. The donor came forward again this year. And that just it continues to inspire people to give to NIL. And one of the things that's important that people know is giving to NIL just isn't something that we're just passively trying to do, that it'd be nice if we could get some funds for NIL. It is really critical for the success of our program moving forward. And Hoosiers Connect, Hoosiers for Good, what they're doing, and not just for certain sports, how they look across the department and really take into account, as we as a department do, that we want to maximize the opportunity for all of our student athletes, not just certain ones. And so it's huge, Galen, huge.
What is it about Indiana fans and donors that you think makes them so passionate about IU athletics?
You know, it's a great question, and I think about it a lot because I do not take it for granted, and I talk to our staff about that a lot. You never just want to think that all we have to do is show up and they're going to be there, although they make us feel that way because they are so committed, and I know they believe in doing things the right way. And as I talk to fellow ADs, and we talk about this a lot, there is this, I sense this difference with our supporters, our fans. Hoosier Nation is different. There's a passion there that is hard to describe. It when you see it, you know it. And I feel very, very fortunate. I know our coaches do, our student athletes do, I know President Witten does, you know, just across the board. The Hoosier Nation just really embraces our student athletes, our department, and tries to help in any way they can to make certain we do things the right way and do things well.
And Hoosier Nation, this is the time for you to be able to chip in. If you've been curious about NIL, if you haven't been sure how to donate or how your money would help in this process, we're going to talk about it throughout the course of the day. We're going to get to our first segment here in just a second. But first, Scott, we really appreciate you taking the time to help get things kicked off today. And we hope we have as successful of a day as we can. We're going to do more of these in the future, hopefully. So thank you, and we appreciate you helping to bring IU athletics to the forefront here on NIL.
Well, Galen, I can't thank you enough for your support, your passionate support, and the IU School of Media has been incredible partners for us in so many ways. We're so lucky. I talked to the Big Ten Network and Francois McGillicuddy, the president of the Big Ten Network. We talk a lot about how fortunate we are at IU that we've got such great partners, including you in the media school and all of our efforts, including this Day of Giving, which is a huge day for us.
Well, I really appreciate that, Scott. Thank you. All right, folks, we're going to get to our first segment. Again, you'll see the URL throughout the course of the day. You can go to Hoosiers Connect on the web and donate at any point. We got a lot of great interviews lined up throughout the day, so be sure to stay tuned. Let's go over to the Cuban Center now for our first one.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the Cuban Center. It is a very special day here at Indiana University and on campus. A reminder that your donations today are matched 100%, and you can go to inforindiana.com. I'm joined by some very, very special guests that hardly need an introduction. Alongside Kara Adams, I'm Trisha Whitaker. This is Trey Galloway and Xavier Johnson. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we enjoy having you guys. So I guess, first of all, we want to just start off on how unique of a perspective both of you have on NIL. Because when you came to IU, NIL wasn't an option. It is now. How much, Trey, we'll start with you. Have you seen this begin to change the landscape of college sports compared to when you first got here?
Yeah, I mean, it's changed a bunch. I mean, obviously, when we first got here, my freshman year, it wasn't a thing. And then going in my sophomore year, that's when it really kicked off and started. And so I think just at first, it was kind of like a shock to everyone.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because it's such a different thing that's new to everybody. And so I think everyone was kind of just trying to figure it out and understand what it truly was. But now I think people are starting to get the understanding of it. And so it's been a big time change for a lot of athletes. And I think in a positive way for sure.
Next, what do you think?
It's definitely a change. I've been in college for a long time.
Have you really? I think I did hear Mike Woodson call you the old man now, basically, right?
Yeah, I am the old man. I am the old man now. It's crazy because I had to take the road from race, but I mean, I've seen a change in just all around. I think NIL is a great thing to have. As far as recruiting and just everything going along with it. I think it's a chance for athletes to understand how to manage their money. That's the first thing. Managing their money is a good thing. You learn how to do tax and everything else around it. You got to be an adult. You got to learn how to be an adult quick.
Oh, is that a learning curve for you guys when this came out? Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it definitely was.
Okay.
Well, Xavier, I'll go back to you. So IU's kind of emerging as one of the forefronts of NIL in the college world. So how important is it for recruits coming to IU?
It's important because one of the things that pop up as a recruit now is how are you going to spread my name, image like this, and how the school is going to help? That's one of the first questions that recruits ask us, and I say, like, we got Hoosiers for Good, Hoosiers Connect. It's a bunch of things that you get. There's a bunch of resources you have that when you come here that'll help you.
How important do you think, and Trey, I'll direct this question to you before, and we will get into fun things. Don't worry, this isn't going to be all serious conversation, but it is important to talk about this because it is so new, like you mentioned, and at first people were so surprised by it. But how important do you think it is for colleges like IU to be on that cutting edge of NIL for recruitment purposes? You guys are passionate about this university. When you graduate, you want to see those recruits continue to come in, but this is important.
No, it is. Because it's really gotten competitive, and we've seen that. And I think just knowing that NIL is such a big factor in the college athletes' decisions in college now, it's going to only continue to get more and more. So I think just knowing that it means so much to the athletes and to the people around the athletes. I think it's a big time decision for college athletes to make a college decision. So I think just knowing that NIL is a big aspect, it's not going anywhere. So I think just knowing that we gotta make it count and know what we're in it for.
When you were being recruited, would you have leaned towards a school that you felt was opportunistic with INL, with opportunities to grow your brand and all that as a high schooler? I mean, can you take yourself back to that moment?
I think, as a high schooler, I wasn't even thinking about NIL. It really wasn't even around. It wasn't a question. But I think that when I first came here, I think that was one of the questions that actually popped up because it was actually about to start coming out. Mm-hmm. And I think that summer it actually did came out, and that would actually help me with my decision coming here. I thought it was a big school. The players are well known. The fans are really into the players. They support the players at a high level. And just can't beat Indiana for NIL.
Gosh, there's your pitch right there. I mean, we might as well just wrap up the show. I think he just sold as to why you should donate today and get your donation matched. I mean, Kara, that was
I know, that's all you need to hear right there.
That's all you need to hear. So when you guys think about, I think a lot of the conversation around NIL has also been, does it amplify tradition? Because you do hear people talk a little bit about how it could impact tradition, but there is the argument to be made that it could actually bring tradition closer to the fans and connect people in a way that you weren't able to before. Do you see that, Trey, with NIL?
I think so. I think the biggest thing is just like he said, building your brand,
right.
And being marketable and resources. I think just being able to kind of connect with fan bases and people that are willing to do NIL with you is really important, because I think just being able to use your platform at a high level, especially here in Indiana, it's such a high platform because we're playing for so many fans and stuff. So I think just using that and being able to connect with the older fan base and people around is big time.
So kind of going off of that, how have things like Hoosiers for Good or like working with organizations within the community impacted you guys individually?
For me, I'm with the kid again. So, I'm with a bunch of kids, something that I love to do. I think Hoosiers for Good matches the athletes up with a great I can't find the word.
Charity.
Great charity to be with, because I think I told them I love being around kids, and they pair me up with a whole bunch of kids. Now these kids they have health problems and things of that nature. But you got to make them feel like with us athletes, we make them we inspire them to just be themselves.
And you have a podcast with one of those kids, correct?
Yeah, I do. Well, I don't have a podcast, but he has a podcast himself, and he's talking to me about bringing me on, but I think he's too wrapped up in the NFL right
now. Once NFL finishes, maybe you'll get the invite.
Yeah, I hope so. Because that's when he usually he turns basketball.
That must be a big podcast if you're taking the back burner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a big podcast. It is.
Wow. Trey, what about you? I know you're involved with Little Star, which is an organization that helps kids with autism. How important is that to you, and why?
Yeah, it means so much because my brother, he has high functioning autistic, so he is. So that means it means a lot to me and my family, just because we're impacted by it every day. And so I think just knowing that my brother has autism, and it's really impactful to really see that and kind of be there for kids who are affected by that and families that are affected by it. So I think just the Little Star program is so important to me, and my family was really happy that I was able to do that. And so I think it was really cool just to be able to connect with them and meet those kids and be able to be around them and help them out. So it was pretty cool.
Can you tell us a little bit about what Little Star does exactly?
Yeah, so I actually went, they have kind of workshops and different things they have in each, like there's 4, I think, in Indiana, and actually 1 here in Bloomington. So I went there a couple of times and kind of just help with the kids and kind of just hang out with them. So it's like a facility for them to kind of just get to know each other. And so I think it was really cool to be able to go there and get to hang out with the kids and stuff. So it was fun.
Very special for you. So kind of transitioning almost into like your journey at IU, what does it mean to now be such a big part of this community and like represent your school now?
It means so much. I mean, just being from Indiana and coming from a IU family, I think just knowing the tradition and just knowing what basketball means to the state is incredible. So I think just being here and putting that uniform on every day and going out competing is really important to me. And I've enjoyed every minute of it. And obviously I'm on year 4 now, which is crazy to say. But like I said, just every day coming to practice and just not looking past it, because just knowing how much it means to everybody involved around me is really special.
So what about you?
I'm the adopted Hoosier.
Adopted Hoosier. We accept and we love all adopted Hoosiers.
But my time here has been great. I just feel like with me choosing Indiana, I got everything I wanted out of it. You got a great fan base. You got a great coach, Coach Woodson. Great culture here. I just couldn't pass up the opportunity. I couldn't.
We love to hear that. You touched on it a little bit, but let's talk a little bit about how you guys have learned to build your brand through NIL. Building your brand is something that really anybody can do. It's who you are. It's your personality. It's what you're passionate about. But the fact that you could build your brand with businesses that you wanted to partner with, tell me what your brand is. I actually want to pose this question to each of you about each other. X, what's his brand?
His brand, the Galloway, Trey Galloway brand. Trey Galloway.
What does that mean? Explain.
I honestly don't know what it means. I just know he's like a big fashion guy. And he puts a lot of stuff like Galloway on his clothes, and people love Trey Galloway.
Big fashion guy, and people love Trey Galloway. That's his brand, according to Xavier. What's his brand, Trey?
He's also into fashion. He loves fashion. I don't think he's got his own. He doesn't have his own.
I don't have my own
brand.
Oh, we gotta work on that.
Yeah, I know, but I think he could easily do that. But I'd say I'll give him first place on most fashion on the team. I'll take second place.
Really?
Yeah, I'll give him first place.
I give him proud because he would never say that.
After I've seen some of the pre-games, he'll take first place. I'll take second. But,
okay,
Right.
Gotcha. So when you think about your brand when it comes to NIL, did you have to start to think about that? I mean, did you sit down and think, what's my personality and what am I passionate about? How did you come up with kind of what you wanted to pursue?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard at first because you're kind of just thinking of ways to make money, obviously, but
Right.
you want to find ways to make your brand representable. And I think just for me, it was what do I like and what is comfortable with me. So I think just finding things that I want to represent and for them to represent me. So I think just knowing the things that would be good for my family and for me to really be a part of.
I would say, I really didn't understand what NIL meant at first, but the person that gave me a better definition of it was Miller Kopp. Miller was good at just being himself, throughout the community and throughout social media. That was one of his biggest assets of social media. I know he used TikTok a lot. I'm not a big TikTok guy, but
YouTube.
But yeah, he uses
Okay.
a lot. He uses a lot to spread his personality. And he was one of the people that I looked at a lot as far as that when I needed help. As far as just spreading my name out there, just look at Miller Cop.
How has social media helped just expand your all's brands, Trey? What are your thoughts on that?
I think a lot. I mean, the IU fans are great, and they show a lot of love on social media. And I think it's been really cool to kind of see them follow my journey as far back as high school. I've had a lot of fans just comment on things and kind of just be involved with my social media and want me to post more and stuff like that. So I think it's really special to have such a big fan base that really cares about us as athletes and as people.
Xavier?
With the IU fan base, it's big. So our social media, I seen my social media grow as soon as I got here. I think it's a lot of Indiana fans that actually follow me. So with that following, you gotta use it, and because people are always watching you.
Let's talk a little bit about, we talked about this before you sat down, and you had a pretty good explanation for what this was. Pizza X, you do have a nice little NIL partnership with them, and we all love pizza. So I'm very intrigued as to what that entails.
So when I first got here, I guess like everybody, when like NIL first came out, people were actually DMing me, Pizza X, and I'm like, what is Pizza X? And I found out what it was. And a guy named Ryan from P6 had DM'd me. We chopped it up, and the first thing that came to mind was a video. I did a video for him. People were making fun of me because it was on YouTube. I was like,
what kind of video was this for someone who did not see it? I need to know.
It was an ad video, so they made it out of I used to live at Evolve for like 2 months when I first got here, and they came to my house and we made a video, and they walked up to the door. I did it with the Hoosiers Connect. With Eric and Ward, the two crazy men. And they came to my house, they walked up with a pizza, and I was like, what is pizza? You gotta really like the video. I don't want to watch it.
You're really teasing this well.
Yeah, and the second thing was, I started playing well in the Big Ten tournament, and they used my name, image, likeness again. And they created a shirt that used the Pizza X logo with Johnson underneath it. So
okay, now my next question, favorite pizza and pizza topping. And do you put ranch on your pizza? That's a big Midwest thing.
Oh, yeah.
You do.
Big West thing. I didn't know that.
It is. Oh, it's very Midwest.
I learned that in elementary school. But for a lot of kids put ranch on their pizza, I used to think it was nasty, but I think it's good now.
Never did it until I got here.
I say pepperoni is my favorite.
Trey?
Don't
say pineapple. You're not allowed to say pineapple.
Pepperoni and sausage. But I like the Pizza X, like the crumbled sausage. That's the best. Their ranch is also the best too.
Yeah.
Pizza X ranch is really good.
Delicious. We love that. Trey, you have a Galloway brand.
Yep.
You design your own shirts and sweatshirts and all that jazz. And I mean, apparently you're very stylish.
Yeah. So my friend and I, like you said, I really like fashion. I'm into it. So I think just me and him really decided to kind of just try something new because we can with this new opportunity. So I think just for me, it was kind of just being able to try and then kind of just do different things with the brand. I think I started with shirts and we sold a couple shirts at first, and then we're kind of just designing new things. So it's been really cool to see it grow and expand. I'm obviously looking forward to growing even more, but it's been fun to kind of just design certain stuff, and I have certain guys that are helping me with that. But my buddy, who also is my best friend, has helped me with that as well. So it's been really cool to be able to do that.
So how does designing your own brand, how has that helped you learn like business side of things, like money and like finances and that sort of thing?
A lot. I mean, you got to, obviously there's going to be some risks taken with trying to sell some things, because not everyone has the same taste as me. But I mean, there's some of those risks you have to take because some people may like it and stuff. So I think just having that kind of taste and feel of what the fans and people want is cool. It's good to see.
What's the best one that you've designed? You and your friend?
I have to give a lot of props to my friend. He's the one that kind of really has done a lot of the hard work. If I see something I like, and he'll honestly just kind of see the clothes that I wear and kind of make it mock up similar to that. So I think there's a new sweatshirt out that I really like.
Okay.
That kind of resembles like a certain brand that I really like. So
So
that's cool.
since you're the most fashionable guy on the team, according to him, would you wear what he designs?
I do like the Zilla he just came out with.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
By the way, I'm
Yep.
He needs a sweatshirt. We need Pizza X. There's a lot of needs here. You touched on the business side of things, and earlier you talked about learning how to do your taxes and all that type of thing. Have you become more business savvy with all of this, and do you feel that's beneficial for college athletes, especially before you guys go out into quote unquote the real?
thing that I've taken away from my business savvy part, as you would say. Yeah, it's just understanding everything's about relationships. I think that's one thing that Coach Wilson has taught us as well. They respected Bob Knight too as well. That's something that he taught him, and I think relationships is one of the biggest things you take away from it, because relationships are the biggest things in life that you need.
Well, how are those relationships that you guys form within the community? How does that impact how you guys play on the court almost, and just like the IU fan base as a whole?
I would say just knowing they have our support, and just us going out in the community is big to them, and it's big to us as well, because we want to meet a lot of people too as well, and create that relationship, because you never know what the next person can do for you.
What are some of the best NIL deals that you've seen around college basketball that kind of catch your eye that other guys are doing?
I would say, the guys that get like, the Nike and the Adidas deals, because they get a lot of stuff. I see it on hand. I see it on hand with Trey and Fino, because they had the Adidas deals, and they were getting all the shoes. I was like, where you get your shoes from? Y'all try to give me some shoes, like.
Can you take us through maybe just the benefits that you have seen around college basketball of NIL? I know we touched on this earlier, the fact that you guys do have that unique perspective of it not being there when you first got here to now, and how that affects the future. I know, when you guys graduate, you're still going to care very deeply about this program and how they recruit. How have you seen it already affect maybe high school recruits and the way that they look at where they want to go?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you're in high school, you really look up to college athletes and the guys you want to be like in college. So I think, for me, I think the biggest thing is just like we talked about, is just if I was to put myself in the high school shoes, is like just connections and relationships. I think that's the biggest thing, because it's not all about the money. I think it's really about just building your brand, like we said, and having those connections that you can create with people that last way past basketball. So I think just building that and knowing what you're in it for.
I love that you mentioned that. It is not all about money, and it is not all about that. X, how do you see this help you guys kind of relate to the fans in a way that you could not do before? With some of the restrictions and everything, you could not do that before. Now, arguably, this helps you build a lot of relationships and show your personality with more freedom.
I think one thing, that helps is, we get invited to go certain places, and, some places, you sign, you take pictures, do autographs and things like that, and things of that nature. I think one of the big events we have is, I forgot what it's called. It's like it's kind of like a low down Hoosier exterior.
Okay.
We get to, it's called Fan Fest. That's what it's called. So, we get to interact with our fans, play with them a little bit. They get to come on the court, we get to interact with them and have fun, things that you could never do before, because I think one of the things that we love to do as players, connect with younger kids, because, they inspired to be in our shoes, and, we want to just get back to them.
So, X, would you say that's one of your favorite memories of NIL since it's grown here at IU?
Yeah, it's one of them. It's one of them. One of my biggest favorites is being with the kids. For Hoosiers for Good, that they offer me with the charity, a kid again. Being with them and just seeing those kids smile is the biggest thing to me.
I love the favorite memory question. Before we go, I want to ask just two more questions that really have nothing to do with NIL and more about your memories here at IU. What's been your favorite memory? Maybe a game or a moment with this team in your time here, Trey?
That's hard.
I know. I put him on the spot. I didn't even tell him I was going to ask him that.
I mean, there's so many great games that I've been a part of. So it's so hard to choose one. But I would say I think any moment in the tournament. That's probably my favorite because it's such a short time.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of look past it because you're just so focused on winning the next game. But I think just the moments in the tournament are special because it's such a great bond and you've been with each other for so long, the whole season. It feels like forever. You finally get to that point where you're in the tournament and you want to keep winning. So I think that is probably my favorite memories of them all, just being in the tournament.
Anyone in particular in the tournament? Shot, a moment, anything?
Not yet. So hopefully we haven't been too far in the tournament yet. So hopefully this year we can change that and create one of those moments.
There we go. That's the answer we were looking for. X, what about you? Let's hear it.
I mean, my favorite moment is probably I actually have two. It was one of them was last year when we lost like 2 or 3 in a row, and we had to bring the team that came together, and we excelled. We had to do certain changes in the midseason because when me being hurt, a lot of dudes would step up in a different role. So I would think that was one of my favorite moments. And another one of my favorite moments was my first year here, Big Ten tournament. We went on a little run, and we cracked the tournament, and we got back on the tournament side of things because I think I heard it's been a while since we've been to the tournament. I don't know how many years. Well, I think it was like 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm. We love to hear that. Well, Trey and Xavier, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us so we could get to know you guys a little bit better and everything you do for the university. And we appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We will be right back here. It's a reminder that this is a full day of some exciting things happening at IU. Remember that your donations are matched 100% today. You can go to inforindiana.com to learn more and to donate. And we will be right back a little bit later on with more. So when I said we'd be back later, I meant about 45 seconds later. We were just joined by Trey Galloway and Xavier Johnson. They shared so much great insight, and we got to know them a little bit better. And we're going to be joined now by Dr. Clavio, who's going to try to make a graceful entrance.
That was about the best entrance I could
So
do.
we're going to have to turn that into a boomerang or a GIF immediately.
Thank you for saying GIF and not GIF. That
I actually second-guessed myself for a second.
No,
I
you
was
were
like,
right.
which one is it?
Great job.
Wonderful.
That was
They
awesome.
were wonderful.
Thank you, Xavier, and thank you to Trey. Just an awesome opportunity to hear them talk about their experiences and NIL and what it means, I guess, in the big scheme of things right now. We appreciate everybody that's watched so far, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching after the fact. We hope that you're enjoying this. This is the first of several interviews that we're going to have throughout the course of the day. I wanted to give everybody a little bit of an update on where we're at right now. We are at close to 40,000 in donations already. Wow. And we've had some donors here throughout the course of the show. We'd like to thank Ben Z, who gave a donation, Leslie, Jordan, Keith, and Bill, very generous donation from you, James and Jamie, $1,000 donation there, Jay and Michael, Ed, We've got recent ones, I guess, from Scotland, Jack and Ryan, Kathleen and David. Just really awesome. All of the generosity. And as we've mentioned, 100% donation match. And we're really trying to get things kicked off for the rest of the year. This is the day that we really want to see those numbers take off. And through the course of the rest of the day, we hope that those of you who have already watched and donated, let your friends know that we're going to be doing more of these. Let's talk a little bit about what we've got coming up here.
Yeah.
Because we've got, what is it, 10:10 right now on the East Coast or in Eastern time zone. We're definitely not on the East Coast here, Tricia.
We're not on the East
but
Coast. No, we're not.
At 11:30, we'll be back, and we've got two of the stars of IU volleyball joining us. Cameron Hayworth going to be joining us. Ramsey Gary going to be joining us, and then head coach Steve Aird going to be joining us as well. We know all of those folks, and we're really looking forward to hearing them talk because, a lot of times the focus ends up being on, the so-called revenue sports.
Right.
But volleyball's had such a huge year, not just here at IU with all the success the teams had, but nationwide.
Oh, absolutely. Coach Aird has done just a fabulous job with that program. And I teach at IU, and my students come in almost every Monday and Wednesday talking about the IU volleyball game and how it's selling out and how there's so much support for it. So you mentioned we do talk about the higher revenue sports, but these IU volleyball players are bringing so many people to Wilkinson Hall, and the atmosphere around that team right now. And Coach Aird, who is never at a loss for words. So you need to come back for that interview. He is so entertaining. He is so informative. He's so smart. I'm really boosting his ego now if he's watching this, but he's wonderful. And that volleyball program, Kara, you cover them a lot, and they are so exciting right now for this campus.
They are. And it's just crazy to see how much it's grown from my freshman year here. Now I'm a junior here. The program has just taken off. I hear people talking about their games, who's going to it, just throughout, like on campus and everything. And just Coach Aird has done a great job building that program, and just they're so entertaining to watch. You want to go to a volleyball game. They're so much fun. Yeah,
it's a great atmosphere. Just got a note. We've surpassed 40,000. Thank you, Kent, for the donation. Awesome job. Thanks to everybody that's donated so far through this first segment. At 1:30 this afternoon, we're going to be down in Franklin Hall, the home of the media school, and we'll have Philip Bleedy and Aaron Casey from the football team joining us, two of the defensive stalwarts on that squad. I believe we got Sammy Jacobs from Hoosier Huddle going to join us. Griffin Gonzalez, who you probably know as the crowd mic guy for football.
Crowd mic guy.
What is that? I'm sure there's
public address announcer.
Well, the
MC?
announcer's upstairs.
The MC. There we go. The MC.
Griffin is the IU football hype man.
Crowd mic guy.
Crowd mic guy. But 1:30, be sure to tune in for that. And then this evening, we've got a whole different set of programming. At 5 o'clock, we'll be starting up. And we've got men's soccer and women's soccer. Kara, it's been a tremendous year for both of the soccer programs. IU women's soccer back in the tournament for the first time in a decade. Men's soccer winning the double. So JT Harms, Patrick McDonald going to be joining us for that. And then Zoe Tiger and Sydney Mazer from women's soccer going to be joining us. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that definitely will be a lot of fun. There's a lot of excitement around men's soccer now. They didn't get that national seed, but they play Thursday night. I think it's going to be, I'm looking forward to hearing it from them. So this afternoon.
Kara going to be on sideline for the broadcast of that IU versus Lipscomb men's soccer tournament game. That'll be 6 o'clock on ESPN+. And then in the nightcap, we've got a special pre-taped interview with Jalen Lucas and Matthew Bedford that we'd like you to tune into. Our thanks to Kylie Corman and Mason Williams for recording that for us yesterday. And then in the nightcap, starting at 7:30, we're going to have women's basketball head coach Terry Morin, who just eclipsed the 400 win mark. And we're going to have Sydney Parrish and Mackenzie Holmes. And after them, special guest to close up the evening, we've got recent IU basketball star Miller Kopp going to join us as well. So
there you go. He was just talked up heavily.
Absolutely.
He's the one who Xavier said I learned the most from. So there you go.
TikTok star.
Primal.
Yeah.
Yes,
Primal.
absolutely. Anyway, just a couple other notes, folks. Just a reminder, when you donate, 100% match on whatever you donate. We've had donations as small as $10. We've had donations today as large as $1,000. So whatever you donate, it's going to get matched 100%. You can designate what sport you're interested in it going to, and there's 0% platform fee. Anybody who's been online lately knows that platform fees are
annoying.
Absolutely
annoying, very annoying.
But none here for this. So take advantage of the opportunity. Go to inforindiana.com. We'll be back at 11:30. Be sure to tune back in. Cameron Hayworth, Ramsey Gary, head coach Steve Aird of IU Volleyball. Kara, Tricia, great job. Thank you so much. We'll
Thank you.
catch you guys again in about an hour.
Wonderful.
Sounds
We'll be
good.
here.
Awesome.
Well, yeah.
Tune back in. Thanks, folks. We'll catch you soon.